We are looking at a massive wall of leverage building up in Bitcoin right now, and it is setting the stage for some serious volatility. $66.23 million. That's not the total. That is the peak leverage stacked up at just a single price point on this heat map. You're looking at a real-time signal of some pretty extreme risk. So, I want you to look at this chart, but don't just see it as data. Think of it more like a map of financial landmines. You see those bright yellow bands? Each one of those represents millions of dollars in leveraged positions, all just one sharp move away from getting completely vaporized. And that really is the big question, isn't it? I mean, the current price is nowhere near that level, so why on earth is this huge pool of liquidity building up so far away? It seems totally backwards. We're going to break down exactly why this is happening. All right, first up, let's talk about the resistance, the potential for a massive upside squeeze. Just imagine a giant magnet sitting way up high, pulling the price toward it, just to trigger a huge cascade of liquidations. Take a close look here at the top of the chart. You see that bright yellow band? It's hovering right around $95,000. That is a giant, giant pool of trapped short sellers. Now, if the price starts to tick up towards them, their positions get liquidated. And what happens then? Well, that forces them to buy back Bitcoin, which, you guessed it, pushes the price even higher. It is literal rocket fuel for a move up. And this creates a classic cause and effect situation. Because there is so much money just sitting there for the taking, it actually incentivizes the big market players to engineer a push upwards. They do it specifically to trigger those stops and cash in. It's what we call a liquidity hunt. And hey, if you're finding this breakdown valuable, do me a favor and drop a like and share. Okay, now let's flip this on its head, because this is not a one-way street. There's also some significant risk brewing on the downside. So if you look just below the current price action, you're going to see another one of those bright clusters. The biggest one is forming right around the $93,000 mark. These are all the leveraged longs, the bulls, and they become the primary target if market sentiment decides to flip bearish. For more analysis like this in real time, you should definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel. But here's the thing. This whole battlefield, it's not static. It is constantly changing. The risk profile is evolving by the hour. Let's actually look at how much things have shifted in just the last 8 hours. Okay, look at the image on the left. That's from the start of the session. The peak leverage was sitting around 50 million. Now check out the right. This is just 8 hours later. The total peak leverage has jumped by over $16 million. And even more importantly, that concentration right at the $95,000 level has gotten way, way more intense. So what's the key takeaway here? It's that this rapid growth in upside liquidation tells us that more and more traders are getting gutsy. They're shorting Bitcoin, betting that the price is going to go down. But all that does is make that $95,000 magnet even stronger. We post these kinds of shifts the moment we see them, so be sure to follow us on Twitter for the latest updates. All right, let's pull all this together. It's time to nail down the final strategic levels that you absolutely need to be watching right now. It really boils down to these two levels. These are the points of maximum financial pain, which means they're also the points of maximum potential volatility. You've got $95,000 as the upside magnet for all those shorts, and you've got $93,000 as the primary downside target for the longs. Any big, decisive move is probably going to aim for one of these zones first. At the end of the day, you have to remember this. The market is a battlefield. This data isn't some crystal ball that's going to predict the future price. No, it's a strategic map. It's showing you exactly where all the financial mines are buried, for bulls and for bears. So that leaves us with one final massive question. With these huge liquidation walls built on both sides of the price, which one is going to break first? Keep a very close eye on these levels. Subscribe and drop a like below. Follow us on X for more updates. See you in the next one.